good evening, and welcome to PM with Kim, y'all. A wonderful Wednesday evening to you. Woo! Made it through another day, y'all. Made it through another day. I hope your Wednesday was wonderful. I hope it was wonderful and it exceeded your expectation, and that all is well in your mind, body, and in your spirit. I pray that all is well and that you have made it through traffic on your way home, or you are home and you're starting to do your wind down, your woosah time is what I call it. So I pray that all is well, and that this video finds you all right. Now, finds you better than all right. Finds you wonderfully blessed. That's my prayer. That's my hope. So welcome back to PM with Kim. Thank you for my regulars who circle back around and hang out with me as I sometimes go off on a tangent and rant and just go off. It's so funny. I was just talking to my cousin a little while ago, and she was like, "Are you still doing your podcast?" I was like, "No, it's not a podcast. It's just videos. It's my AM and PM." And she was like, "Oh, okay." She said, "Are they still long?" I was like, "Yeah, they are. You either go watch them or you're not, girl." So just, hey, thank you for y'all that come and you sit with me and you listen to me. But I did tell her, I said, you know what, the Holy Spirit have his way. I said, because before I get on here, I tell her, I say a prayer, Lord, Holy Spirit, have your way. What is it that you want me to impart to your people? And it might be 10 minutes, it might be 20 minutes, it might be 40 minutes. Hey, the beauty of technology is you can watch, you can pause, you can not watch at all. But I'm not going to quench the Holy Spirit. How about that? I'm not going to stop just because it says a number on the clock. So thank you for those of you who sit and you listen to me. I hope it's blessing you, though. That's my whole goal. I mean, I'm not just talking to just to be talking. I am trying to impart some wisdom and some insight, and letting God use me in the manner that he sees fit. So thank you for those of you who sit with me and listen to me, and I hope it's blessing you. I hope you're getting something out of it, because it sure is blessing me. I tell all of my village and my tribe, my people, this is therapy for me. This is therapeutic, and it is a piece of my purpose. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time that I just didn't have the confidence to do. If I'm being honest, I didn't. And here I am, 100 and something videos in. I'm proud of myself, because I didn't think I could. Well, not that I didn't think I could. I didn't believe in myself enough, I guess. And it's gonna be what it's gonna be for who it's gonna be for. So thank you. And see, I'm already starting to ramble on. So let me reel it back in. So for those of you who are my regulars, thank you. For those of you who are new to this journey, this is Evening Inspiration, where I give you some of my aha moments, some wisdom, something that pops in my head during the day, and I share with you in the evening. And then if you see so fit to circle back around in the morning for AM with Kim, I use a specific quote or a meme to use it as my talking points to give motivation to start your day and carry you through until we get back to this time in this evening. So welcome back. I go through the day sometimes and I don't really know what I'm going to say. But for those of you who don't already know, I've said it, or you just knew, or whatever else, I'm a teacher. And this is year 32 for me. And one of the things that impressed upon my spirit today that I wanted to talk about was extending grace to people. And as a teacher, if you don't extend grace to people, you're in the wrong business, to students, to children. But it extends further than just children in the school or young people or young adults. We need to be extending grace to each other. It ain't just about students. It's about being good to each other. And so I just wanted to kind of talk about grace and how I came to understand grace early. Thank God. Thank you, God. And maybe I didn't know that it was called grace. I just knew that I just needed to give people the benefit of the doubt young, early. Because, people function and they operate how they operate. And so, for the people, and I wrote it down because I always mix it up. So I wrote it down. So so people who are not church people, and you listening and you want to know, and we always talk about mercy and we talk about grace. And so in the church lingo, mercy is not receiving what we deserve. It's not getting the punishment or not getting the just due for the mess that we create, for the sins that we commit. God's mercy says, you know what, I'm covering you. I'm not giving you what you deserve, because you deserve for me to to give you something for it. But mercy says, God's mercy says, you know what, I ain't gonna punish you. And then grace is receiving what we don't deserve. It's like a positive gift or favor. It's a pardon, if you will. And so a lot of times people, we get so caught up in the lingo, the church lingo and whatever else. But just to make it plain and clear for the layman, I call it meeting people in the middle of mess. Meeting people in the middle of the mess. I didn't say in the middle of their mess. I ain't say in the middle of my mess. I said meeting people in the middle of mess, because the mess oftentimes is the mess malicious or is it misaligned? And so we have to learn to extend pardons and favor to people. That grace, but if you don't know what to call it, it's meeting people in the middle where you are, based on the circumstances, and just giving them really pretty much a pass. It's that invisible, it's forgiveness for an invisible apology that you never got. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna get at a pass, because why not? But most people don't do that, and most people carry that stuff, and then it becomes anger and resentment and bitterness and grudges. And instead of people really just looking at the core or the root of why things happen, they get mad. I'm done with him. I'm done with her. She is this. He is that. They ain't nothing. Blah, 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 blah. And maybe you're right. Maybe they aren't the nicest. Maybe they aren't pure in heart. And so that's why I say look at it as when you're looking at meeting in the middle of mess. That's where, the grace, the pardon, the favor that you give people, even if they don't say sorry, even if they don't come to you, with the olive branch, or, saying, hey, I ain't mean to do so and so. If you do it for you, it's tied into forgiveness, and forgiveness is for you. It's not for them. But what we have to understand is, and what I always say this, in education, that's how I thought about it, because kids do some crazy stuff. And I used to always tell, because I was an administrative assistant principal for 8 years, and as I was coaching my teachers, I would tell them, you have to have a short-term memory with these kids. And we as adults have to have short-term memory with each other. And what that means is you got to start fresh tomorrow. Because young people, they're going to do some dumb stuff today. And you're going to have to circle back around tomorrow and start afresh and not remember what they did yesterday. You can't hold them to that. Especially the young people, because their brains are still developing. And so they don't even have sense half of the time. And so they're going to do some dumb stuff today. And then tomorrow you got to meet them with a smile and be like, hey, welcome back, whatever else. And you have to have a short-term memory. And so I used to hone that into my teachers when I was supervisor. You got to have a short-term memory. You got to give these kids grace. Do they deserve it sometimes? No, because sometimes they're just being a-holes. But you still got to extend them a pardon. You still got to, there's that grace, that, whatever terminology you want, you got to meet them in the middle. You got to meet them in the middle. And so I say that to us as adults, as people, as humans. We just got to meet people in the middle, because we don't know what people are going through. We don't know why people do what they do. And you don't want to hold on to stuff, and you're processing it based off of your knowledge, based off of your experiences, based off of the things that you know and understand to be your truth. But you don't understand where they came from in whatever they said or whatever they did to you, because guess what? They're operating out of their truth, out of their knowing, out of their experiences, out of their stuff. And your stuff might not be their stuff. And so what we have to understand is, when people say or do things to us, is it worth carrying? Or is it worth just giving them that meeting them in the middle with that invisible part and saying, you know what? I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're going through. I don't know how they're operating. And the question that I want you to think about when you're encountering these kind of things, when people say something or they do something to you, and you're like, well, I ain't gonna fool with them. I ain't gonna do the. I have a motto. I have very many mantras that I go by. I give people grace and space. I'm gonna give you grace because I don't know what you were going through when you said or did what you did to me. I don't know what your prior experiences were that has rooted and grounded you into the person that you are or the things that you are used to, and thus you operate out of them. And so I don't know your experiences, so I gotta give you some grace because I don't know what you're carrying. I don't know what you're doing. And so I give grace, but I also give space. I'm gonna give you space to work through whatever you're doing, and I'm gonna give me space to separate myself from you so that I don't allow you to keep doing that. But hopefully at some point you get to meet back in the middle and have a conversation or a some kind of heart to heart where you can express to this person or these people or whatever else, you know what, when you said or did so and so, this is what I heard. This is how it made me feel. I don't know where you're coming from. Can you help me understand where you were? And so now you've extended grace because now you're even having a conversation. And then too, you're not aggressive. You're not angry. You're not bitter. You're telling them how it felt. And then you're opening up the lines for them to give you their truth. And I bet you, once you have a conversation and you understand where they're coming from, how they're operating in, then you'll understand, oh, okay, I get it. Because everybody's experience is not yours. And that was one of the things I used to tell my teachers. I had this one teacher, I ain't gonna call her name, when I was supervising her. And she used to just nag at these kids and they should be able to do this and they should be able to do that. I said, why? Because you could do it? Why? Because that's what you grew up knowing? You can't judge and you can't hold students and people to your standard because that's what you have. Because you don't know what they had. You don't know what they came up with. So we have to accept people where they are, understand them where they are, and then move in the same direction together. And that's grace. That's meeting in the middle. But here's the deal. Don't be a fool either. Because what you have to ask yourself is, when I'm talking about adults now, when you're dealing with students and kids, you just gotta do what you do and extend grace every day, short-term memory every day. And as people, as humans, as Christians, as believers, we should be doing that. But what you have to do is what you have to understand, and what you have to make sure is that you guard your heart and your mind and your spirit too, because you don't just let people treat you like anything. But you ask yourself the question that, in extending the pardon, the gift, the grace, and trying to understand where people are coming from, is what they said or did, do you believe in your spirit, your heart, mind, and spirit, that what they did or said was out of malice, out of being malicious intent? Or do you believe that what they said or did was out of misalignment, meaning they operated out of their stuff, they operated out of their experiences, they operated out of their knowing, and they weren't trying to be malicious, but they were operating out of who they are, what they know, and how they operate. And it might not align with who you are and what you know and how you operate. So if it's a malicious intent, then you can pardon them with grace, pray for them, and then create that space that might be a permanent space. But if what they say or do to you is out of misalignment, meaning it's a misunderstanding, it's a miscommunication, it is not because they're operating out of who they are and their experiences and their prior knowledge and all of those things, then you pardon them, you pray for them, and then you come back together and you meet in the middle to understand each other so that you can forge a path together and be good moving forward. And I was listening to a video one time, not too long ago, and it talked about forgiving people and separating from people and allowing certain people in your lives and whatever else. And it was so beautiful. I thought, like, wow, okay, that made me sense. The guy was saying, do we forgive them like Jesus forgave Peter for his mistake, or do we hold him like a Judas who was intentional, even though he was still forgiven too? But as a human, as our walk and what we do, are we gonna forgive him like Peter who made mistakes, or are we gonna treat him like, pray for him, treat him like a Judas, and keep them at a distance? Give them their space, give them your space, and it might be a permanent space, but you can still pray for them, you can still pardon them, and you can still forgive them, but you don't have to be bothered with them. So that's how we extend grace. That's how we repair relationships. That's how we move forward and we build and we grow together, because we don't hold on to mess. We don't hold on to mess. We meet in the middle of the mess. We pardon, we forgive, we talk, we love, we move, and we go. Or we pardon and we keep our space, because if they did it maliciously one time, the chances are they're going to do it maliciously again. But if it was just misalignment, misunderstanding, then that's where grace abounds, because love comes, and that's where love comes in. Love covers a multitude of sins. Don't carry mess around, y'all. Life is short. So if somebody does something to you, somebody says something to you, and they're operating out of who they are, what they know, and how they've been, and it's not aligned with who you are, what you know, and who you've been, then you talk. You get to know their perspective. You tell them your perspective. You sit and you figure out how to communicate, and then you move forward. If there are people who are, somebody that's going to be around, or somebody that's, not just somebody passing, but have a short-term memory, y'all, because it doesn't benefit you to just keep holding on, because that stuff creates resentment and bitterness and strife, and that manifests in your body and through stress, and then you sick, and they done moved on, and they all right, and you over here feeling some kind of way, and they done moved on, and they all right. So why you not gonna be all right if they all right? But if it's worth, you keeping a relationship, or you maintaining, if nothing else, social, cordial, whatever else, then let that stuff go. Give them grace. Even if they didn't say sorry, even if they don't really deserve it, God gives us grace. We can't extend that to each other. Why not? What does it benefit you to hold on to stuff, to carry into the next day, into the next day, into the next week, into the next month, into the next year? What does that benefit you, other than stress on your body, bitterness in your heart, resentment, in strife, all of that stuff? You can't prosper like that. Let love kill it all, because love covers a multitude of sins. Love will reshape and remold and repair anything that somebody does or says, if you have the heart posture and the mind posture to say, you know what, this ain't benefiting me to hold on to a mess. Process it. If it's malicious, do what you need to do to separate yourself. If it was misalignment, come together, figure it out, release it, and let love do the rest. And watch how life is peaceful, and watch how life is good. Have a short-term memory. Because holding on to stuff, and typically the stuff that you hold on to because someone said or did something to you, it's because y'all just wasn't aligned on the same page, thinking the same way, processing the same way, because you're not the same. And your experiences are not the same. And so our experiences and the things that we have done and experienced shape who we are. And we operate and we speak and we function out of who we are based on the stuff that we've encountered, experienced. So that's where relationship building comes in, to, making sure that, grace abounds. and that love abounds. And we can only do that if we have a short-term memory and that we let go of stuff and we really extend grace and we favor and pardon people and love on them. And even if they don't say I'm sorry, if it wasn't something that was ill intended, and it's not going to harm you and it's not going to end your life, let that thing go. Let it go and love. And guess what? The more you love and the more you stay your good self and the path that you're on, and you stay being consistently and authentically who you are, and you love on people, it's going to change. The more love you pour out on somebody and the more grace you give somebody and the example that you show and your light that shines, it's going to make misalignments align. It's going to make for a good connection and good communication and good a good way to walk forward with people in this world. So don't hold on to stuff, and remember that people operate out of their experiences. They say and do things out of experiences, lifelong experiences, stuff that happened. And I learned, like I said early on, thank God that I thank God a lot that he, and I'm not saying I'm special and I'm any better than anybody else, but I thank God for the way he has shaped me and molded me and the person that he has made me, because early on he deposited some things into me that helped me to become who I am today. And one of those things was grace and forgiveness. I didn't know what grace was early on, but I knew how to forgive and I knew how to let things go, even when I didn't understand why people were doing what they were doing. And I'm going to end here in a minute, but I think about, my father, the first man I ever loved. My father was a good dude. But my father had shortcomings. And my father dropped the ball as a father. He did. He dropped the ball. And some of it was dropping the ball because he just didn't have some of the foundation that he should have had. And then he dropped the ball just because he just didn't he made some choices that, as a man, he just made those choices. And that's, how he operated in some of the things. But I learned as a teenager and my young adults, from, teenage, high school to like maybe early 20s, I wasn't really as it didn't extend as much grace to him as I should have. But as I got older and as I got more grounded spiritually, I understood that, Dad, because he loved me. I knew he loved me. I loved him, but he just dropped the ball and it just was so disappointing sometimes. But he operated out of what he experienced growing up, what he was passed down from his folk and what he saw in his life growing up. And a lot of times we repeat these cycles, these generational curses, these cycles in our families that we need to break. And so I learned, and I say all that to say that it's so beautiful that I was able to extend him grace and understand, from his perspective. And I didn't get all of the answers. I didn't know, whatever else. But, the last year or so of his life, we connected on a great level. I was there to help take care of him. And we had some good, deep, honest, heartfelt conversation. And I was able to I get this grace thing. And he did the best that he could do with what he had. He could have done a little bit better, but he did what he could do with what he had, and what he was working with. And so I was able to really to exhibit grace in action. And so I extend that. And then going into education, I knew that we have to do that to children every day. But beyond children, we got to do that to each other every day. We got to extend grace. We got to let love abound. We got to meet people in the middle, and have courageous conversations that are not centered and based on bitterness and anger and whatever else, but real heart-to-heart conversations so that people can share your truth, share their truth, share your truth, share their truth, and meet in the middle and oh, wow. And then so where you were misaligned, then you become aligned, and then you all can walk and be better, and walk lighter and not carry mess. So extend grace, and have a short-term memory, and and look at it as, if you don't want to look at it in the churchy religious way, of a grace, just meet somebody in the middle. Meet them in the middle of the mess, and dig through it, decipher it, and then move on. If it's malicious, handle them accordingly, adjust accordingly. But if it's just misalignment, misunderstanding, miscommunication, mistakes, whatever that miss is, you can let that go. You can give that a pardon, and then you can cover it with love, and watch how life blossoms, and watch how things work out because you did that. And guess what? And then you're not carrying bitterness and anger and resentment, and you can live lighter and freer, and God is pleased. So that's my evening inspiration, y'all. Hope it helped you. Yeah, that was the thoughts of Kim. The thoughts of Kim, every day, something pops in, but yeah. So meet people in the middle, extend grace, pardon them, love on them, and let God do the rest, and life is going to be good. It's going to be good. And love is the answer. It is the answer. And when you tap into that, it's good. It is good. That's it. That's all, y'all. So I pray that the rest of your evening is richly blessed. I pray that when you lay down tonight, that your sleep will be restful and peaceful and sweet, and that you will have divine dreams, and that the hand of God will rest upon you all night long, and that the angels will encamp all around your home, keeping you and everybody in it safe from any hurt, harm, or danger, and that you will awaken tomorrow refreshed and revived and renewed and ready to run into your thankful Thursday, giving God the honor and the glory for another day. And then you'll go into your Thursday, your thankful Thursday, better than you were today. And so that is my hope and my prayer for you, and that you'll wake up tomorrow expecting for wonderful things to happen. We draw in what we manifest, and you manifest the greatness. You manifest everything that you want, and you exhibit that, and then you attract back what you are. And we got to be love, y'all. So that's it. That's all. That's it for the evening. I hope you eat something good tonight and rest, and then catch me back tomorrow for AM with Kim. And that's it, y'all. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Peace that surpasses all understanding. Peace that guards your heart, your mind, your soul, your body, your spirit, everything about you in Christ Jesus. Lord, have mercy. May grace abound. May love abound. And may you have all that your heart desires. Rest well, and check me out in AM, y'all. May the Lord cover you from the crown of your head with his love to the soles of your feet, and cover you in everything that you need and want. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings from my heart to yours. I love you. I love you. I love you. Go and be great. Get you some rest, and check me out in the AM. All right, y'all. Good night.